Hello, hello, everyone. I'm so excited that you're here. This is our fourth episode of LightWork, where we come together, we learn, we laugh, and we let go. And I'm super excited about this episode because I have the chance to talk to a dear friend of mine, someone that I've actually known for a while through an organization called National Society of Black Engineers. And our friendship, sisterhood, all of these things have grown since we were in high school. And here we are at this big old age of 40 something.
We ain't talking numbers.
We don't need to put and disclose all of that, but we're at a big old
Yeah.
age,
Yeah.
and this friendship and sisterhood has like grown through the test of times. And so I'm excited about this conversation because we get to talk about a topic that I think is so important right now. And it crosses over in both our worlds. I'll read the bio of my dear friend Modupé Jackson, but she's a therapist, and I am a coach, and we've realized how there are some overlaps and our worlds collide, and there are similarities, and there's definitely things that during this day and time are so critical and so important for people. And we just want to have a conversation about it. And so I'm going to read the bio and we're going to jump into this conversation. So, Modupé Jackson, after working as a biomedical engineer for 10 years, Modupé decided to pursue a long held interest in mental health services. She completed a Master of Social Work at UNC Chapel Hill, now as the owner and therapist of Adawn Healing, PLLC. Modupé works from a premise that healing happens in relationship with self, others, and the natural world. Her approach combines warmth and expertise, creating a space where clients feel both supported and empowered to grow. When Modupé is not in session, you will find her restoring herself in church or in nature, enjoying West African dance classes, crafting, or sharing laughter with her family. These activities not only bring her joy, but also inform her holistic approach to wellness and healing. Welcome, Modupé, to the
Thank you.
show.
Good to be here.
I'm so excited. And I'm
Yeah.
glad that you put laughter in your bio because what I know about you and what most people remember, recognize, or see in you is that you have this bold, boisterous, lovely laugh that can fill a space, can heal even, if you're around you and
Mhm.
you get to share a laugh with Madupe, like it is definitely, definitely a joy. So excited to have you on the show today. And I thought we would jump in and jump to something that stands out to me and may stand out to others as they hear your bio. You were a biomedical engineer for 10 years.
Mhm.
And I think that's impressive that you are now a therapist and you own your own therapy practice. Like, how did you get from being a biomedical engineer to this practice today?
Mm. I would say faith. It's
Hmm.
interesting. When I think my sophomore year, junior year of college, I
Hmm.
was an RA and I had the
Okay.
thought that I would like to be a therapist. We were doing some kind of training on how to, engage with your residents, and the counseling center had offered that training. And I was like,
Mm.
I might like to do
Mm.
this. But being at Georgia Tech, I didn't have a whole lot of options for pursuing that then. And also, one of the primary draws for engineering was
Hmm.
the financial stability that it offered with
Mm.
work post graduation.
Hmm.
And so being there, it was just, and I did enjoy it. I enjoyed
Yeah.
what I did. And I was good at my job, good taking the classes. But it was something that stuck with me. And so
Mm.
after being working in medical device sales, and I might be on the plane next to a therapist or
Mm,
hear someone talk, and it was still something that kept pulling at me. And I had my daughter, my first daughter, and I just kind of started thinking about the world that I wanted to live in, wanted to create, help to create for her, and what that looked like, and what it looked like to be working a job where I wasn't completely satisfied, where I had this other tug, and um, to be able to show her an example
mm,
of doing and pursuing and being assertive about the things that you want. And having the faith and belief that it will work out. And so I made the decision in 2019 to leave the job, but ultimately there were so many things that were being put in place to help secure our family financially, to help me feel more comfortable, it not
mm,
feeling like such a leap. And then it's just been the greatest thing.
mm,
My classes to prepare me, the ability that I have to recognize some of the patterns that I didn't understand in my family,
mm,
um, being able to relate to people, understanding myself more. Um, I just feel like richer because of this experience. So I'm grateful for it, and that's how it happened. I had this tug and
mm.
it didn't go away. And so
Yes.
yeah,
You honored the call. You honored the
yeah,
call. And
yeah.
that takes bravery, that takes courage. A lot of people have that. And sometimes they don't even have the words to put to what they feel, right? Like you were interested or you were called to do this work. And if you were around people that were doing it, there was an interest or a curiosity. And sometimes we don't always acknowledge that. And so it's so admirable that you acknowledged it and you did it at a time that it could have been difficult, right? You're starting a family and there's uncertainty, right? There
Yeah.
comes additional expenses and things. And you were in a career that financially could have held you. It could have brought the
Mhm.
stability that, I imagine you would have wanted.
Mhm.
You said, no, I'm going to do this for my daughter. I want her to see me pursuing something that I'm saying is in alignment with my heart's calling.
Yes.
And I think that is one of the bravest things we can
Mm.
do.
Mhm.
And it led you to this place of a new day.
Yes.
And that's something that you describe in the work that you do. And I'm interested in what does that mean to you personally, especially right now? Like, what does a new day mean in the therapy and the work that you do for your clients?
I would say it means a shift. It means
Mm,
change. It means a sense of possibility. It
mm,
means a glimmer, light, something to look forward to.
mhm.
When people ask me like who I work with, it's people who are feeling stuck, people
Yeah.
who are feeling like they're just in a dark place. They've been going around following kind of the same sort of patterns, and they're wondering where the change is going to come from.
Mm,
And so just this ability to have a fresh start, um, this idea that we are capable of changing course at any time.
mm,
I think it's kind of been highlighted in my life in that story that I shared.
yeah.
Um, because there was a period of it's just like every day the same thing. I'm not feeling fulfilled. I'm feeling this tug, but I'm scared to leave.
Yeah.
And you get caught in this circle, and it's very easy to just kind of stay there. And so what does it mean to believe that something different can happen? Like you step out
Mm.
there, and you will be fully supported. It might not be easy, but the
Mm,
things that you need will show up when you need them, and you will know what to do when it's time to do it.
mm.
And that is what I love. That is what I love.
That's so good. It's so good. I have had a similar journey. But what stands out to me is this idea that you can evolve, right?
Hmm.
We
Hmm.
can change our mind and it's okay. And I think what happens, and you talk about being stuck, is we're not giving ourselves permission to evolve. We're
Hmm.
not giving ourselves permission to actually do something different that might feel non-traditional, right?
Yeah.
You went to college, you got the engineering degree, and you went and worked at a great job for 10 years.
Mm.
And I'm sure by all means of external validation, that seems like success,
Yes.
you
Hmm.
know?
Hmm.
But you said I was unfulfilled, like there was
Hmm.
something missing, and you gave yourself permission to evolve. And I
Hmm.
love the idea of like this a new day, a dawn healing, is that we can change our course. And we also have like the agency to do that. And it's so interesting that people can choose to stay in a place where they may not feel fulfilled, or they feel stuck, or they're in a rut, and stay there because they've convinced themselves that it's okay to feel that way. I think
Hmm.
sometimes people don't even know
Yeah.
that you could feel different. Like you don't
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
be
No.
unhappy in your work. Sometimes we convince ourselves. Like I
Yeah.
think about these memes and posts where people are like, "Oh my God, I'm so glad it's Friday," or like, "Oh, the case of the
Yeah.
Mondays," or
Yeah.
something. It's like
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
this
No.
rut that
You are
we have
speaking.
justified.
Yeah.
What is that
Yeah.
about? Like what's coming up for you in that?
I mean, when you said that, that was one of the things that was my indicator. I was living for the weekends. I was
Ooh.
living for Fridays. I was,
Mm.
I just, and I'm like, out of 7 days of the week, there's five of them that I just want to skip through. Like,
Yes.
there- there's something wrong there, like
Oh man.
it's not,
Yes.
and it doesn't have to be, like it's not what you want, not what I wanted.
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah.
just my indicator. Every week, it's like I'm living for
Yeah.
Fridays, and
Yeah.
life is a gift. And you
Mm.
rushing through to try to get to another point in time, and why?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I want to enjoy my Mondays, my Wednesdays, I want to enjoy every day, and not feel like I'm trying to rush through it. And that was really um, that was a big sign for me.
That's the
Mm,
key indicator.
yeah,
Well, I honor you for honoring that, right?
yeah,
Paying attention to that. And so, what would you say has now been the feeling of starting your own practice, honoring your body and the lack of fulfillment, and saying, I don't have to stay in this rut. I don't have to
yeah,
like look forward to just the weekends.
yeah,
There may be something more. And I know it hasn't been easy. I mean, you started your own practice and you left something that was stable.
yeah.
How has that journey been for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of learning. I'm still learning,
Hmm.
right? It's interesting because I did have a period going into the holiday, where I felt like I was trying to claw my way there
Ooh,
in December. I'm like,
yeah.
uh-oh, this is me now, right?
Yeah. Mm.
This is me now. And so what does it mean to create a schedule that's sustainable? And
Yeah.
I had ideas of what that looked like, before my caseload became full, and because before all of the things started filling up on my calendar. And so it is again giving ourselves permission to change,
Yep.
understanding that with new data there might be new decisions that are made.
Mm.
um I think resisting to this culture, because you mentioned people, you know, making themselves believe that they have to stay stuck, or this is what it has. This is our culture. This is in the air. This is,
Mm.
grind it out. You don't have to be happy. Like, just do this right now. And then at
Mm.
the end of it, like push yourself to get through this moment. And then at the end, you'll be okay. You can stack
Wow.
up this money and then you'll, where you might not even get to enjoy it. Like, and
Mm.
so I think there's so much that we're taught,
Mm.
um, and that we see in imagery, in
Yeah.
what is lifted up. Um,
Mm.
and it's hard to break away from that. The expectations of what we have on ourselves, not being gentle, expecting that things should be perfect the first time out, or the second, or the
Yeah.
third, or that there won't be any challenge. Like that's not life.
Yeah.
Um,
My
and
goodness.
so I would say, as it relates to that, it is a journey, I think, from like a like a planning sort. Before I started the practice, I set up the days that I wanted to work, the days that I wanted to volunteer, the days that I would dance, the days in really having this like balanced sort of schedule, thinking about
Hmm.
the ways that I wanted to show up. Before starting my practice, I actually was off from work for a year and a half. I took some time
Wow.
off. I was having some health challenges, trying to get that in order. Uh,
Mm.
and then it made me realize all the ways that I wanted to show up in the world, like how I
Mm.
wanted to be a friend, a mother, a daughter, a sister, like all these different things.
Hmm.
And I recognize there's not enough time to do everything that people are pushing on you, and
Yeah.
still work 40 hours a week, you know?
Yes.
And so thinking about that, that was the initial sort of kind of plan. And now here I am with my practice established. There's some data that's coming in, and I'm going to take some time
Yeah.
to reflect on what that looks like, and what I want to do going forward. What that means is that just having breaks periodically every quarter, is that, one less day of work. What is it? What does it need
Yeah.
to be? Yeah, so
Mm.
just continuing to refine, and this idea that this is a journey. It's not like a one stop, you have arrived and you know exactly what to do. Um,
Hmm.
but we're
It's
we're
so
moving.
good.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
good. So much there. I'm also drawn to you talk about like breaking cycles, like even in the work that you do and the work that you do with clients, which I think is amazing. And as you talk about a new day is possible, you say it starts with interrupting the cycle.
Mhm.
And you even talked about, in a sense, you were in a cycle, right?
Oh,
Working
yeah.
in a job, looking forward to the weekends. Like you were in a cycle, get through this week,
Mhm, mhm.
and I can have the weekend to recover whatever I need to do. So I can just enough to get back and go do it again, right?
Yeah.
That's a cycle. And I'm curious, what does it look like to interrupt those cycles? So if you were offering maybe advice to a client that is stuck, like what are some of the different ways people can get unstuck? Because I imagine that people are listening to this, Madupe, and they're like, man, she is telling my story, and I've
Right,
been there for so long, and I want to get out.
right,
Help. What
right,
should I
right,
do?
right.
How do you interrupt a cycle that not only we may have been in so long, but our external world, society is actually validating and saying that's okay to be stuck there.
Yeah. We
What
want
should
you
they
stuck
do?
there.
We want you stuck there. Please.
More
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Um, I think really the biggest thing is awareness. It's
Mm.
awareness. It's understanding yourself, knowing what these patterns are as they come, and
Mm.
being able to step back. Like if you're an observer of this situation, because you got to
Yeah.
recognize that it is a pattern. And you have
Yes.
to recognize like what you might be contributing to that pattern.
Mm.
Um, and so that's one of the things that, when I first started working with clients, a lot of it is, okay, what are you feeling right now? And do you know why you're feeling that? Is
Yeah.
there a pattern to what you're feeling? And so people can begin to think about what they like, don't like, because I mean, even as adults or as we grow older, we are
Mhm.
taught to sometimes like um, disregard the inputs, the sensory things that are coming in,
Mhm.
the input, the elements that are coming in. And
Yeah.
we get so we we lose our attunement to self, to know what is
Mm.
good, what is not, what is causing, these different feelings. And so it is an awareness of self, um, in
Mm.
the surroundings, um, to be able to recognize what the pattern is. And then once you recognize, what are shifts that can be made? And it doesn't even have
Mhm.
to always be a big shift. It doesn't have to be you quitting your job and going to another career. Um, there are small shifts that can occur that have ripple effects.
Mm.
And we never know where they lead. It's kind of like pulling threads, which is going to be the one you don't know. Um,
Yeah.
and we could have some ideas, but being open to like possibility, curious about what is coming up, being observant, like what you see when you do make changes. It kind of gets me because I think about it as like these are little mini science experiments. If I
Huh.
do this and I change this, it's the hypothesis. If I do this, what is going to be the result? You take that data in.
Ah,
What's the response to it? And then,
yeah.
okay, I got to do something else, just so I
Mm.
think that there are ways that that we can make these changes and not neglecting the miracle that can be just something tiny, like just a different step.
Mm. I love that idea of like a science experiment. Of course, you being an
Yeah.
engineer by trade,
Yes.
like collecting data and
Yeah.
forming a hypothesis. And maybe that makes it a little easy for people to be like, oh, I can do this, especially those that have a science mind. Like,
Mhm.
take a step, form a hypothesis, and then test it out, right? It
Mhm.
can be an experiment. And then
Yeah.
it goes back to some of the thoughts we shared earlier that you can change your mind, right?
Yeah.
You get some
Mhm.
data and then
Mhm.
you can shift paths. You
Mhm.
can choose
Mhm.
another path based on that data, but hearing that awareness is the first step.
Mhm.
I think it's so important for
Yeah.
people to consider.
Yeah.
And even thinking about change, I'm curious, this day and age that we live in as a therapist, are you seeing any themes? I know there's confidentiality, we're not asking for that, but are you seeing any themes in what people are dealing with or what's coming up often in your work? Like, are people struggling with certain things that are thematic? Are there are things that are bubbling up to the surface where you're like, yeah, this is common. People are saying similar things about this, um, that are, to you like a signal, like we should pay attention.
Yeah,
Anything
I,
coming
I
up?
mean, I think there are so many people with like anxiety and stress.
Mm,
Just
mm,
um, I hear a lot of people who just it's so much. They feel like they're inundated. They're being
mm,
flooded with
mm.
information, with like disaster after disaster, however you want to frame
Yeah.
that, but just there's so much information to take in, not enough time to process it all.
Mm,
And there's also this sort of worry about like, will this even matter? Like, I'm
mm.
worried about, my job, but we're at war. There are so many things that are going on
Yeah.
in the world, and it's this sense of, is this is this even like the construct of the world of what we are to be concerned about right now?
Hmm.
Um, and
Yeah.
it's hard, right? Because
Yeah.
Every day
Yeah.
there seems like there's something new.
Mm,
And in those moments, I think it's important to stay close,
mm,
stay close to the period of time we are in right now,
yeah.
um, and being present. Um, like you keep your eyes open to what's around you, but
Yeah.
we don't hold the future. Uh,
Mm,
we can make the best decisions from the information that we have right now. And I think, again, going back to this idea of evolving, and
mm,
I think it's hard, that part is hard in our society because oftentimes it is hard for people to change. You know, it's hard for people to like say, oh, that's what I thought last week. Now I'm on to this, without
yeah.
people saying, oh, disregarding like
Yeah.
this change or evolution.
Mm,
Um, when 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 you feel like, or whoever feels like you should be at a certain level right when you start. Where's the growth trajectory?
yeah.
Where's like that
Yes.
I'm getting better at this. I'm understanding this more. I have a new sense of what this all means because I'm in a different place. I can see differently now.
Mhm.
Um, and so I think part of it is like the surrender to what it means to grow, like what
Wow.
it means, when you
Mm.
first asked me about doing this, I'm like,
Yes, that's
you know,
real.
yeah, and it's real. And also part of me is just like, what if I do look back at this and say, well, I can't believe I said that.
Uh,
I mean, and also like that would mean that there's some growth, I have good
I
intentions
expect
now.
that.
Yeah,
Yes.
hope for that, right? We hope for that. Like,
Yes.
and not saying the same things and thinking in the same way that we were 10 or 15 years ago, or whatever period of time,
Mm.
that there's growth that happens there. There's more nuance. There is, I think again, as we talk about like this being a journey, it never stops. Like, I hope I'm not
Yeah.
dealing with the same issues that I deal with
Mm.
currently, but you can't
Mm.
therapize your way out of life. You can't
Yeah.
coach your way out of life. Like, there are going to
Yeah.
be some challenges that come up. And my hope and prayer is like, I'm a little bit better in some way. Like, it's not,
Hmm.
it don't look the same,
Yeah.
like, but
Yeah.
um, it's
I,
different.
it
Yeah.
is. It is. And I could go so many ways with this, but I think, Modupé, what I want to maybe unpack a little bit more was your hesitation. Like, what thoughts were going through your mind when I invited you to do this? Because let me just lay a little background. This is new and hard and
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
all the things for me as well, because I am saying I'm going to start a podcast because I want to talk about light and people bring light into the world. And I want to do this because I believe I can, right? I mean, it really wasn't much more to it than that.
Mhm.
I believe I can, and I believe I have something to share.
Mhm.
That is vulnerable, that is bold, that is courageous,
Mhm.
and it could be a little crazy too, because I'm saying I want to do this and not do other things that maybe could be bringing in revenue
Mhm. Yeah.
because I want to share a message with the world, right? And so there's hesitation there, there's doubt, there's who does she think she is? Like, there's all things that I had to deal with. I'm curious for you, what were you dealing with when I invited you to come on this podcast as an expert in your practice and
Mm.
share your journey, share your story, share your wisdom, which I think you have a lot of. What
Yeah.
was coming up for you?
Yeah, no, I mean, you mentioned a lot of the things, and I think if we were to pull some common themes of things that I've said, it really is this idea of perfection. For
Mm.
me, that is a struggle. Like and I want to always do my best. I have a high standard of what my best is. I want to be helpful. And just there can sometimes be doubt there. Well, I mean, there are a lot of people talking, do they need
Yeah.
me? What
Yeah.
what do I have to say to share?
Mm.
Um, and will I agree with it later? Will it
Mm.
stand the test of time? But again,
Mm.
and so the things that I say or that I've said here are things that, have helped me. Like, even if I
Yeah.
disagree with this in
Yeah.
5 years, or I feel like there's a better way that I could have answered this
Yeah.
or spoken about this or that.
Yeah.
Um, it's still meaningful now, right here in this moment. And I tell clients all the time because I do encourage journaling
Yeah.
um, as a method of just one, getting your thoughts out of your head because
Yeah.
they can swirl and you can just ruminate and think about
Yeah.
them and get stuck in a pattern. So getting it out there. And also, too, it does provide you with an opportunity to see growth, to see
Mm.
changes, to see those shifts that because they are small, they feel
Yeah.
insignificant and you can't necessarily pinpoint when the change happened,
Yeah.
but you know that something happened. Like, and so being able to, I mean, I think it also builds awareness too, just of what was going on in that time.
Mm.
And sometimes I look back when I, think about a decision like, "Ugh, why did I do that?
Mm. Mm.
And I can't think about because I'm looking at it from these eyes here right
Yeah.
now with these experiences you can't be in parallel universes. Like if I go down this way, this is what it'll look like. If I go this way, this is, and so
Yeah.
it's hard to sometimes remember where you were
Mm-hmm.
when you did that, when
Mm.
you said that, when you felt that, when you initiated that. And
Yeah.
so being able to look back and
Mm-hmm.
and um and I say see God work like
Yeah.
like just
I agree
yeah.
with that
Hmm.
wholeheartedly.
Hmm.
Um, it's reminding me of how important our voice is because you mentioned the word insignificant because we can almost deem
Hmm.
ourselves insignificant. Well, it doesn't matter if I say this,
Hmm.
or I don't want to say this because I may change my mind or something may change or shift. And we mute ourselves. And
Hmm.
there is so much power now, especially in our collective voices, our individual voices, but just our voice in general, especially if you have something to say. And I would speak specifically for those that are doing work that is of the heart and that is grounded in truth
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
grounded in integrity,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It is so much more important in this time that we do speak, that we
Yes.
do share our work, that we share our
Hmm.
hearts and our practice.
Hmm.
And we stand in that because it's so much darkness, I think, in this world right now
Right.
that if we allow, oh, I might change my mind, or oh, I'm not as confident about what
Hmm.
I'm saying or what I'm doing to stop or hesitate, cause us to hesitate, we won't do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And there are so many more unqualified
You're right.
that are doing
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
loudly,
Yeah.
that are doing things loudly. And when I say unqualified, Modupé, I mean like don't even like
No.
like shine a little light on
Yeah.
anything that you're doing or others that, I have these conversations with. And so I think it's so important. I'm so glad you said what you said that even if we're not sure and if perfectionism is getting in the way, that we say or do something
Yeah.
is critical. It is critical because we have so much light. And I think too, we'll surprise ourselves,
Oh yeah.
right? We often surprise ourselves with what comes out of us because a lot of times it's not just us anyway. And if you
Yeah.
believe in a higher power, which we share that, um, it's God working through us.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
how dare we say, God, I'm not going to allow you to work through me because I'm imperfect.
Right, right, right.
And God is saying that's why I need to work through you.
Yeah, yeah. I know.
You know?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So I'm so glad you brought that up. I think that this work that you're doing is critical. It's
yeah.
critical.
No.
And we talked a little bit, in just our conversations and even how this kind of came up is, some overlap in therapy, some overlap in coaching,
Hmm.
but how important I think both of them are in this day and age. Even that people are talking more about both,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah.
I would even go as to say in the culture, Black folks, right? People of
Hmm.
color. Let's
Hmm.
even go broader, a little broader. People of color to talk about therapy is such a great advancement. And I know we've advanced.
Yeah.
Um, but it is still a great advancement to see people of color talk about therapy in
Hmm.
casual conversations,
Yes.
where it's not this taboo thing where it was just for people that were crazy or whatever
Yeah.
terms we gave it.
Mhm.
What are some of the things that you think are important for people to understand about therapy or even about coaching that have become real for you?
Hmm. Yeah, I think everyone could benefit from a therapist or a coach. I mean, if you live in like there are things there. And I think being able to, like, even in this conversation, have a mirror, like having
Mm,
someone reflect back to you the things that um, are important, are scary,
mm,
are challenging, is so important. And I think um, our society that we live in is, individualistic.
hmm.
And we were created to be in connection with one another,
So
you
true.
know?
Ah,
And sometimes it's hard to share and be in connection with some of these things that we carry. Um, And so it might be easier for someone to talk to me who, is not a part of their family, has
mm,
not, known them from this age, will not see them, on a regular, see them tomorrow at the
mm,
house or whatever, to have that ability to share and time to focus
hmm,
on goals and desires, and to have just that unconditional sort of like positive regard um is so beneficial, especially because we've lost our sense of community in so many other ways that could be helpful
oh,
and beneficial. um and so I just see therapy and coaching as a way for us to get to our optimal selves, to fact check
yeah.
some, reality test some things that we might believe about ourselves, some messages that came in. And two heads is always better than one. I believe
Hmm.
in the power of the collective.
Yeah.
Um, and so what that can bring.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I agree. I
Mm.
agree. Um, I think, and if anyone's listening and just curious about like the differences, someone put it to me, and this was a simplistic way to understand it, but it
Yeah.
helped me think about it. Someone said that therapy is a way of dealing with your past, and coaching is a way of dealing with your future.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably a simplistic way, but it made so much sense to
Yeah.
me. Would you
Yeah.
agree?
Yeah. No, I would. I think therapists, I think we kind of cover the span.
Mm,
And
mm,
so
Yes.
There is a there with coaching, there is this, you know, parameters that are given. These are
Mm-hmm.
goals that I have, how I want to attain them. And
Mm-hmm.
coaches have this idea of like, these are skills that could be helpful. Let's learn
Mm-hmm.
these techniques. Let me
Mm-hmm.
share with you. Let me encourage you, reflect back to you. And I would say therapy does the same. I think
Yeah.
sometimes there are issues that might be a little bit more deep rooted, deep seated, like
Mm.
if there are traumas that you've experienced in life that are cause for some of the patterns that are showing up.
Yes.
Um, and it might require like going back into the past
Mm-hmm.
um, to reconcile some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Because again, as we are young and you know face so many things that can
Sure.
come at us really fast, or even as we mature, and things
Yeah.
that are just really, really heavy and hard to comprehend, understand that life might throw our way, it can cause some significant distress. And
Mm.
we're all trying to cope the best way we know how with
Yeah.
the skills and the tools that we have. And
Yeah.
so, um, how do we move forward with that?
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's so good. And I
Mhm.
do think they partner well.
Yeah.
I am very clear when I'm working with a client
Mhm.
and something comes up that's beyond my training or my expertise to say,
Mhm.
that might be something you might need a therapist for, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
phrase,
Yeah.
know how to use it. I'm not afraid to use it,
They
right?
come up.
Because
Mhm.
it
Yeah.
may go beyond what I'm skilled at.
Yeah.
As a coach, I can ask very powerful questions to help people
Yes.
reflect, but I also hold space. Like I
Mhm.
have capacity, I would say,
Yes.
to hold
Yes.
space for people and their emotions and what they're processing and be with them.
Yeah. And just
And
with them. Yes. Yeah.
right. And I
Yes.
know when things come up that may deal with some deep rooted things from their past or require therapy, it is definitely a handoff to someone like you that is
Mhm.
skilled in that can take them to that next level and continue to work with them. So I love those partnerships. I love how these two work together well.
Yeah.
And I love that we get to be in this space that could help heal someone to even take an audacious step like you did to leave a place where they felt stuck and then go into a space where it's a new day, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And could recognize their patterns or ways they were stuck and
Yes.
continue their journey in a way that feels more fulfilling.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
And Madupe, I know you're bringing light to this world,
Mm.
and I would love for you to share. Well, two things. I will ask you as we think about this podcast, light work. I talk about how we have a lightness of being, we have lightheartedness,
Mhm.
so the joy and the levity, and then we also have illumination. So we talk about we learn, we laugh, and we let go.
Mhm.
Which of those resonates with you the most? And it might just be today, it might be in your practice of helping people find their way. Um, what would you say resonates for you?
Yeah, I would definitely say the illumination piece,
Hmm.
just with the light,
Yeah.
and thinking about how, again, dark some things can feel, how heavy they can be, and just having this little bit. I mean, just this glimmer,
Hmm.
this
Yeah.
idea, this sense of like, and again, this Adawn, like the breaking of a new day, when that first light comes up, like that first hint of a new day, something is changing. Uh,
Ugh. Love that image.
Yeah. So that is
Mm,
Adawn, like this, that, yeah.
the light. That's
That is the light, that first, that
light.
daybreak.
Oh.
Yeah, that we too can come out of whatever period we're in. And um, it's interesting. I just wanted to share because part of that year and a half that I took off, like I said, I was having these health challenges and I was just thinking super far, ahead, like what's going on with me? What the end of this, like what will happen? Um, and it was really, really dark,
Mm,
for
mm,
me. And it was interesting because I don't know when things shifted,
mm.
I still don't completely know what was going on or what is going on,
Yeah.
but I was able to still have joy in a way that I hadn't had. And it was amazing to me, like nothing necessarily about my situation changed, but I was able to see things in a different way. And so, one change is this idea of there can be a new day and there can be a new start and you can change directions.
Mm,
Also, just this idea like your mind can change. Your situation can be what it is, and the way you look at it, the way you experience it, the way it impacts you
mm,
can be different.
mm.
Um, and I think that is also powerful. So there being light, even in some of the hardest circumstances.
Good.
Yeah.
Wow. And a choice to see
Mhm.
that light and let that
Yeah.
light in.
Hmm.
Wow, that's powerful and encouraging.
Hmm.
So I love this conversation with Dupe, and I'm just so glad that we got to have it. And I know we touched on many things, but at the end of the day, it's you shedding light into the world, like that
Hmm.
at the core of this conversation is
Yeah.
what you're doing. What I'm excited about
What
you and
you're offering space to do, I appreciate you.
yes. And you're doing it so well.
Mm.
So thank you for that. I always love to ask my guests two questions I end with. What lights you up and how are you lighting up the world? So we'll start with what lights you up.
Mm. Yeah, I think being outside,
Yeah.
just the quiet things. We were walking in on a trail on Friday and saw like
Mm.
little frogs jumping over each other. Not sure what they were. We saw turtles. Just
Oh.
being out and being in nature and being able to quiet your mind. And I got to dance this
Mm.
weekend. So
Ooh,
those are
your
the
West
things.
African dance?
West African dance,
I
and I did
love it.
Zumba in the
Okay.
same day, back to back. And it was just like I'm moving my body, being
Yeah.
with friends. It's just, yeah, this weekend, when I think about lighting, it's this again, this holistic, this balance, this, you know, on Saturday, I went to four different, like I went to the classes. We had a speed dating with some of the ladies at church. And so like the
Oh,
younger women were talking to the seasoned women,
oh,
getting to know
that's
them.
such a great idea.
Yeah, yeah, they had them in the
Oh,
center. And then we had 5 minutes with each one, with each
ah,
person, which did not seem like long enough, but it was
oh my
enough to like
gosh.
spark interest, to, yeah,
I
to
am
talk
borrowing
about
that
more.
idea.
Yeah,
I'm helping
yeah.
to plan a family reunion, and that's actually going to be one of the
Oh,
activities.
yeah.
That's
No,
what we're going
yes,
to
you
do.
should. It was beautiful. It was really cool.
Oh, I love
You
that.
know, um, and then I'm in this, I call it an intentional living group, but it's a group of women, and we kind of talk and hold each other accountable and share what's going
Yeah.
on. So those are the things that light me up, that
Mm,
give me joy and peace. And then as
mm,
it relates to me, how I'm lighting the world, I think really just in the work that I do. That is one aspect. It's so encouraging to see people's lives changing. And I'm
Yeah.
grateful to be able to be a witness to that. It's an inspiration. Um, and it's one of those things that has ripple effects like far beyond what I can see. Who knows
Yeah.
what that means for their interactions with their families, the people they work, whatever they do. And so that is light.
Mm.
And yeah, the dancing too, like
Yes,
those things, those that is light. That is
that
the
is.
joy. And yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it lights you up. Like I
Yeah,
see
it
it on your
lights
face
me.
and your energy. And when you
Yeah.
are lit,
Yeah.
it does. It shares
Yeah.
with other people. I talk about your infectious laugh and your
Mm-hmm.
smile and all of that is it's contagious,
Yeah.
right? And so good for you for
Yeah.
allowing yourself to be lit up and sharing that with the world. I think about
Mm-hmm.
this concept that when we share our light, it doesn't have to dim. It doesn't have to, take
Mm-hmm.
away from our light. Our sharing light helps illuminate others, but then we
Yeah.
still have our own light. Like it doesn't take away from it.
Yeah.
And so you get to share light and still be light. And it's
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
beautiful.
Yeah.
It's so
And they can
beautiful.
happen at the same time.
At the same time, at the same
Same time.
time.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, Modupé. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for just coming on just two girls hanging out, chit chat,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
little
Yeah. Yeah.
kiki,
Yeah.
a little
No, yeah, I
conversation.
appreciate you. And this was encouraging for me too. So I
I'm so
appreciate
glad.
you for offering this space, and for making me feel comfortable,
Mm, so glad.
making me feel heard, like helping me to, yeah, reflecting back the things that I was saying, like
Yeah.
speaking to me, encouraging, speaking life. Yeah, thank you so much
Oh, it's
for
my
what you're doing
pleasure.
and using your gift and offering it to the world.
Thank you. I received that. Thank you, thank you, thank
Mm-hmm.
you.
Yeah,
I
thank
appreciate it.
you.
So, those watching, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being with us in this space. We look forward to you checking us out, checking out previous episodes and the upcoming episodes. And we will continue to share and shed our light in this world.
Yes, yes.
We'll see you next time. Be well.
Thank
Bye.
you.